today. You know what I'm going to tell you about first? You will not believe this. We are talking about free preschool education in the city of Toledo. I mean it, absolutely free. Award-winning, 4-star, your schools are 4-star, aren't they?
4-star.
4-star schools in the city got an amazingly large and prestigious grant to provide this daycare. I want to introduce you to two marvelous women who are responsible for running this program. It's actually at Little Generations Daycare, and I'd like to introduce you to Little Generations Daycare Vice President Gladys Green. Welcome
Hello.
this morning. Hey, how are you?
Good.
Good. I'm so glad you're here. And Marlena Mayani, I knew I was going to mess that up. Did I get it right?
You got it right.
Mayani, yeah, she's the administrator at Little Generations Daycare. Thank you both for joining us this morning. Okay, I didn't believe this when I heard it at first. Free daycare, it's like free preschool.
Free preschool.
Free preschool.
Yes.
Absolutely unheard of. What happened? How did you all manage to get this grant?
Well, what we did is we heard about it in an email. There was a mass email that was sent out to everybody in the state. And all we did was responded. What they said is that it was based on our quality rating. So we got one of the largest things in the state of Ohio, just based on our quality rating alone.
And your quality rating is one of the highest in the state. Is it like 4 stars?
It is the highest.
It is the highest?
It is the highest.
You are kidding
Yes.
me.
It is
4
the highest
stars.
in the
That's
state, yes.
amazing. You must be so proud.
We are extremely proud.
Yeah, and before we talk a little bit more about that, let's just tell them, I should have started off with this, but you all provide a wide array of services
Yes.
at your place. What, Gladys?
Well, we provide Head Start. We have childcare, and then now we're doing the preschool. So we have childcare for CSB, our Head Start program, just about everything that you need. We're open from 6:30 a.m. until midnight, Monday through Friday.
That's pretty amazing. And the kids, how old do the kids have to be there?
Well, they start at age 2.5, and they go up to age 12.
Okay.
But the grant is for ages 3 and 4-year-olds, children that have not attended kindergarten yet.
You and I, when we were talking before the show yesterday or the day before, whenever, I was amazed at the kinds of things that your kids are doing. They are, well, why don't you tell them?
Well, we prepare our children for kindergarten, and in doing so, we have a variety of things that we work on. And one of the main things is when they're learning their ABCs. Right along with that, they're learning to do sign language.
Can you believe
So they
that?
can sign
Sign
all of their
language.
ABCs.
Yeah.
They learn their colors in English and in Spanish, as well as their numbers in English and in Spanish.
And by the time they're graduating,
Oh, they got it down pat.
they got it.
They got it down
right?
pat.
And
As a matter of fact, when we have our graduation ceremony, which we have every year, it's not just to show off, the cap and gowns. It's to show the parents and share with the parents everything that the child has learned. Because you'll be surprised as to how many parents, they're like, I didn't know she knew that. I didn't know he knew that. The Pledge of Allegiance, things of that nature.
Yeah, so by the time they're graduating, they're signing.
They're signing.
They're signing. They're speaking Spanish to some degree.
Yes.
And they know their colors. All kinds of things.
Yes.
All kinds of things.
Yes.
So, what's the great thing about this grant that you received, Marlena?
Well, one of the best things about this grant is that parents who couldn't afford preschool before, it was that gap where they weren't able to get free preschool, but they still can't quite afford the preschool, because preschool, let's face it, it's expensive.
It's expensive.
It's
is.
very expensive.
It is.
So it kind of bridges that gap a little bit. And the goal of the grant is actually so that every child by 3rd grade is able to read at a higher level. What they're finding is that children learn more birth to age 5 than they learn the entire rest of their lives. And they're finding that if they're going to have them reading at the age they're supposed to, they need to have them in preschool.
Let's explain the difference between preschool and daycare, just so folks are not confused. Would one of you do that?
Well, fact of the matter is, at our school, it's the same.
Really?
Because all of our kids are going to learn the same. There is no difference. But, you have childcare where they go and they just play and they're just looked after. Whereas we're very structured. So everyone comes in, we have our circle time, and we have designated time that they're doing their learning. We do allow them free play, some, but the main thing is to focus on, what they need to learn. And with that being the case, being very structured and just hands-on as far as right in the very beginning as to how to really even act towards each other, because you cannot teach a child anything else if they're not behaving.
Absolutely.
And you need to, be on top of that first. So we start with, everybody's yes, everybody's Mr. and Mrs. and yes and no thank you. So this is how we do things. Once we get them straightened there, then we get on with what we really need to teach them.
Right. No TV at your place, huh? No TV time.
We do have TV, but when we're using TV, it's for a reading program that we use to help them to read.
And so this grant allows people, as I understand it, who might just make a little too much money to be qualified for other programs. Is that right,
Yes.
Marlena? So what are the requirements basically?
Basically, the requirements are, it's an income-based program still. It does go higher than most programs through the state. And all we require is that they turn in a proof of income and a birth certificate and then fill out our packet and they can get started.
So people who have traditionally not been eligible for what other programs might be interested?
Absolutely. You have a lot of young parents out there that they make just enough to where they may not be able to receive assistance from JFS or from the Head Start program.
Right.
Well, through this program, they can make a little bit more money and yet get in, because, as expensive as childcare is, they're leaving their children at home with grandma, Uncle Tom, and so forth, and they're not getting what they need. They need to be with their peers, and they need to be in a structured environment where they're learning. And so this program allows for that. We're excited about the fact that they can come in, they bring 4 check stubs or their tax return. They have to do a list of how many's in their household, and then we look at our scale and go from there. And we have not had to turn too many people away. But we don't have a whole lot of slots left.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because there are limited slots in this program, which are filling quickly, as I understand. Marlena, how many slots did you guys get in total?
We got 113 slots through this grant. We also have 117 slots
A
through
slot
Head
is an
Start.
enrollment, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm sorry, you got 113?
We have 113 slots through this grant, and we have 117 through Head Start as well.
So, and I understand when I checked this week that they were filling pretty quickly.
They are.
We have 2 locations. So we have our Bancroft site as well as our Eleanor site.
Yeah, and we're going to give you that information before we leave this morning. There are 2 locations, great locations, easy to get to locations, fairly centralized when you think about our city. And we'll give you the information as to where those locations are and exactly how to get more information about the program as well before we leave you today. But you have 2 locations.
Yes, we have 2 locations, and I think we have like 22 more slots at the Bancroft site. And how many, Marlena, at the other site?
We have maybe 50 at the other site.
Left.
Yes.
Okay. And what would you tell parents is most important about this program? In addition to the fact that, you got it because you're great. I mean, and that's the reason you're on this morning. It's so important to let folks in Toledo know about quality preschool education, especially when it doesn't cost anything. We're strong advocates for quality education on this show, and I was real excited to hear about this. So this is an important grant because it gives the kids an opportunity to get out there and...
Well, the biggest part about the grant is with Race to the Top, the state of Ohio is having to justify by 3rd grade that kids are meeting reading level scores. And if they are in our program, they're learning to read in preschool. I have many kids that are able to read 50 words or more when they leave. They're able to count to at least 50, many of them 100. And usually
In English
and
in
Spanish.
Spanish. Right.
The state actually only requires that they count to 20. So we're going well above and beyond what they need to know. And we're partnering with many of the city schools. I've had kindergarten teachers that rave over our program. They get our kids after they go to public school, and they can't say enough good things about us. I've talked to kindergarten principals even, and they come through the center, and they saw our center is set up very much like a kindergarten program.
Right.
So when they go on, they're ready. They know what's coming next, and it's not anything
so
new
important.
for them.
That's really important, I
Well,
think.
and you have to understand, it's a win-win. Why wouldn't a kindergarten school want us to have their kids come in from us because they're ready. It's not going to be as hard for them to assist the child further because they're already ahead of the game. You know.
That's exactly right. What a great, congratulations, you guys. This is such a great honor that, it's such a great tribute to the quality of your care to get this particular grant from the state. And can you tell me how much it was? I remember, didn't you get it and then you got an increase for that?
We did. We actually had 98 slots available, and they gave us 15 more just recently.
Yeah,
So,
just because of how good you are.
Yes.
That's pretty cool stuff. It's pretty cool stuff. We're going to tell you again the locations of Little Generations Daycare before we leave today. So don't go away. We will be right back.